Hi! This is going to be the first video in a series of tutorial videos explaining how you can solo a pre-generated module that you have already played or that you have read already. If you wanted to solo a pre-generated module that you have never played or read before, please check out the playlist in the description below for that tutorial series. In this case, I am going to be using the Golden Sky Stories role-playing game with the Flextail Solo Adventuring Toolkit as my only weapon of choice to run this particular series of videos. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Golden Sky Stories, it's basically a peaceful, lighthearted role-playing game where you take on matters of the heart, emotional problems, sometimes intellectual problems as well, but it's all about helping people with their daily lives. You play as henge, which are basically, they are magical creatures from Japanese folklore. They could be considered the equivalent somewhat of fairies on our side of the pond, but they are using their magic to help people and perhaps just solve problems, assist in any way that they can. So here it's not about killing powerful monsters and obtaining valuable treasures and artifacts. It's about solving everyday life situations using a bit of help from the henge that is with you, participating as these problem-solving magical creatures. I am going to give you a presentation or introduction to how I am going to be running things with this video. I am going to be playing the At the Fox's Shrine scenario. The outlook or the general overview of the scenario is that you have this shrine in the middle of the forest and the henge come there to play. The henge can transform from humans to animals or hybrids, and depending on their pool of resources, which are called dreams and feelings, they will be able to use some magical powers to solve the problems in the scenario. In this scenario, like I said, this is focused on running a pre-generated module that you have already played or that you have read before. I have actually played this scenario twice in the past, so it's a perfect scenario in my opinion to showcase how you can bring some life or some new surprises into the encounters. In this case, you have this fox henge. She lives alone in the shrine and she's quite proud, somewhat haughty, perhaps even aloof at times, and she hasn't realized that she is looking for affection, for social interaction. She's somewhat of a hermit or a loner, so it's up to the henge to help her realize this. But like I said, because I am going to be running this with the Solo Adventuring Toolkit, things could proceed a bit differently. It depends on the results. Maybe things do not stray too far from the original plotline, but you never know. So the scenario proceeds with the henge arriving to this shrine and they start to interact with the shrine itself. Later comes the fox henge along to introduce herself. This is also going to be randomized as I play along. I will make some indications on how things would normally proceed and how things actually happen when using the tables in the Solo Adventuring Toolkit. So she is going to present herself to the henge. They are going to be interacting, but she will enjoy their company so much that she's going to use her magic to try to discourage them from leaving the shrine. So it's up to the henge to figure things out, to see if they can help her with her emotional problems. And if the scenario proceeds successfully, then the henge are going to become friends with the fox henge. But things could develop a bit differently. We will see as I play along this scenario using the Solo Adventuring Toolkit. Now I am going to talk a bit about the different characters. I will be playing as Kuramu. She is a cat henge and she is somewhat selfish. All of the henge have their weaknesses and some additional powers, but she, like I said, she's selfish. She likes to shred things or scratch things like many cats, and she doesn't like to eat too many things. Her tongue is quite delicate, so to speak. Then we have Koro Tanaka. She is a dog henge. Koro is basically very naive, honest, and quite mindful of her master. She's always she has her master as her priority. She's actually a normal dog as her secret identity, let's put it like that. And then we have Sara. Sara is a bird henge. She's somewhat of a bird brain. She's also very distant and delicate. So when it comes to distant, she has some sort of weird demeanor towards her, and she has this delicate attitude to her. So she looks a bit like those bohemians or artists that are somewhat detached from the world. So these three henge are going to be interacting or participating in the adventure. Both Koro and Sara are going to be controlled by the artificial intelligence system included in the Flextail Solo Adventuring Toolkit. Although if you want to expand upon this system, I highly recommend the Flextail AI guidebook. I'm going to put the links in the description. Flex AI guidebook, yes, that's the one. Now when it comes to the connections between the different henge, they all have a certain connection with the town where they live, but in the case of Kuramu, she wants to protect Koro. She feels a bit protective of this dog henge despite her selfishness. And when it comes to Sara, she considers Sara to be a rival, especially because Kuramu is not very good when it comes to using magic. She's somewhat decent. She's a bit more of a pragmatist, or an adult. And when it comes to Koro Tanaka, she respects Kuramu. She thinks Kuramu is quite dependable. When it comes to Sara, she admires Sara because of her tranquil attitude. That is, she looks pretty chill. And she also admires her ease or her proficiency in using magic. Concerning Sara, she actually considers Koro to be part of her family. They have known each other for a long time. And she actually trusts Kuramu. So even though the cat henge is constantly like trying to one-up her or be better than her, she trusts her abilities, so it's somewhat of an interesting relationship in which Sara has nothing but the best intentions towards Kuramu, but Kuramu is always trying to prove that she's better at this or that. Somewhat childish considering her animal and adult attributes are somewhat high. I guess that's part of her flaws. But who knows, like I said, many things could happen during the scenario. Maybe it's more of a friendly rivalry, or maybe they try to develop or grow up together as Kuramu tries to challenge Sara into different things. It could proceed like that. So this is the presentation video. I'll see if I can bring out the first part of the scenario within a week, as the henge enter this mysterious shrine and meet up with Susune Hachiman, the loner fox henge. Thank you for watching this first video. I hope you will enjoy the other videos in this series. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And like in my other tutorial series, at the end of this scenario, I am going to bring out a video where I explain the entire process to run a pre-generated module as a solo experience, but a pre-generated module that you have already played or read. So once again, thank you, and thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. See you later.